just to get started very quickly. So I'm going to start off with the blue team, and Nick will do the red team afterwards. Well, let's have a look. First of all, at Ganan, and it's mainly because there was an engineer first. And that's the main reason I picked them. Anyway, Celestial Rifle Engineer is sticking with the good old Hullbrecker in there with the 60062 standard utilities, but he's actually going for the Elixir S instead. So not fairly standard, but really, really good at survivability and also at downing your opponents with that Invuln. And yeah, pretty good. So he's going to be able to roam a lot as well. It's got their speedy kits there to offer up. Rather than going for the power shoes, still got a lot of mobility and also vigor regeneration. Then we are going to go over to Eternia, who's playing Double Dagger Elementalist. We saw this in the last game, but he's going for the Hullbreck Rune and also for the Doom Sigil and also for the Geomancy as well. Karzez is going to be up next. He's going to be playing a DP Thief. He's actually going to be going for the Immobilized Panic Strike build there as well, and has actually opted to go for the Blinding Powder rather than the Signet, which we would not normally see now because we've seen Blinding Powder
nope,
used
not anymore.
Often. Yeah, this isn't probably, I guess, the more consistent of the builds now. And then jumping over to Drazu, we have the DPS Medigard, normally going for Traveller's Rune. He is going for that again today. And you can see he's going for the Sigil of Blood there and Sigil of Air over on the Scepter Focus. And then, of course, Intelligence and also Fire over on the Hammer. Finally, we'll go for Alcor. He's more than likely playing Shoutbow Warrior. It looks like he is indeed. Not much difference there. Standard traits of 00464, as well as going for the Fear Me. Fear Me being very much more optional now. Sometimes we do see on my mark as well, switched in at different times. Maybe for the lower cooldown. I like Fear Me as well. Yesterday, that awesome. I'm not going to stop talking about the awesomeness of Fear Me yesterday on Waterfall. I can't remember who it was by though. When both players got feared into the different alleys of that waterfall cap, and he could get the res, and then they came back and actually turned the fight around.
I think that wasn't Fear Me, that was the Stolen Thief ability by Sigil. Something along those lines.
I'm pretty sure it was the Fear Me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But Sigil got the rest.
Well,
maybe we're talking about two different situations, but let's stick with this game.
You just blew it,
for
Nick.
the time being. Yeah.
Talking about
I might have Jigglypuff or Blackjack or any other Pokemon name you might associate with them. He's playing a Double Dagger Celestial Elementalist, normal trade spread, normal utilities, and the Fiery Greatsword to top it all off. And next there is Tage, the DPS Guardian, the crowned MVP of WTS, is running the Meditation Guardian, of course. Nothing too special on that one. Let's have a check. Is running the Rune of Pack. He rather likes to stick with the Pack Rune instead of the Travelers.
Yep.
But to be honest, he hasn't really had much of a problem in terms of keeping up with other people or people just running away from him, which sometimes is the case. But yeah, if you get the swiftness, then Pack Rune definitely also a good choice. Frelina next up on a Thief, one of the other burst classes in this team. Well, of the two, that is. And he's playing a Dagger Pistol with Berserker Amulet, Pack Room, and is going for the Panic Strike. So no Executioner on this one. He's keeping it well, basically in the meta a bit more. Executioner is rather a surprising thing nowadays. And while we're talking about surprising things, Denshi is not a Denshinier. He is on an Elementalist, and I was saying only 2 bursty classes. No, we have a Fresh Air Elementalist in there. People have been trying this for quite some time, and no one ever really managed to make it work properly. I think that's more of a thing that happens in the NA scene than really EU. Let's see how they fare with it. They aren't going full on Berserker as TCG has in the Weekly Cup, but okay, Denshi on a Fresh Air Elementalist. That might be interesting.
And
last but not least, Vampire. Yeah, that's a good choice actually.
Definitely, in case he gets bursted himself. That's going to help him a ton. He can actually misform away, and he's going full on. Look, Arcane Wave, Arcane Shield, and Fire Greatsword, everything. He's got the utility there of Lightning Flash to get away if he needs to, but yeah, he can get away probably quite well.
Vampirism Rune is probably a good choice on this one, and if it's a good choice anywhere, I'd say on the Fresh Air Elementalist. Let's see how that plays out. The last one we have in this lineup, that is Rom, the Shoutbow Warrior. He's also going for Fear Me, so no on my mark on this one. Other than that, yeah, pretty much standard. No stances in there, so 3 shots as we're used to seeing it, of course, also with the battle standard. So keep an eye on guys who suddenly are back alive.
Indeed. So Vampirism is looking like it's going to be very much one of the new kind of favourite, I guess, survivable more really with the runes, of course. Like if the surviving and actually mitigating that burst by being invulnerable and actually, you know, starting to mist away. Something I used to play around with ages ago on bursty builds, where you're just like, oh, damn, I need some survivability here, but I don't want to use anything utility-wise to actually, you know, take out any of my bursts. So I know obviously you still need to have some utility to defend yourself, but, you know, just opting for extra damage and then going for the rune to actually make sure you can get away in the end if you do get into significant trouble. And then she's going to be one of those guys who, you know, where his positioning is very good, that he can actually survive for a long time anyway. So that Vampirism is going to only improve that, hopefully, for him. We are just waiting for the team members to ready up. We have oRNG on the red team. They are your WTS World Champions from Boston, of course, versus HoT, who are probably the team who have given them the most competition in the EU, if we're honest.
I think TCG and 55 both have beaten HoT. But Sizzling Hot Pressure has been the most consistent in matches against oRNG. So there's definitely some stone, scissor, paper, no. Scissors, paper, stone? This way, what one of these ways going on in the top tier of Guild Wars 2 at the moment. Specific teams are better at beating one team than they are at beating another one.
It's true, and it's almost, you know, handling that comp, and maybe this is why Denshi is playing a more bursty role, you know. Maybe he feels that that's actually going to be better versus this team, and that's why he's playing that instead of going for the engineer, or even what he used to play ages ago was the Dagger Elementalist, of course, which is something that they don't use really anymore. And yeah, so that's going to be kind of interesting, just having a look at the team. This is the full lineup we had in Boston as well, so they're all here for once together.
Yeah.
Playing as one.
We'll definitely have to keep an eye on Denshi. How he's going to do. His positioning is going to be critical, but also just the coordination of the burst spike. If you have 3 Zerkers in your team, you need to be careful, because once you're on tilt, you basically have to regroup.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they lose him early, like we saw on the initial engage on that cross on the last time we were on Forest with TCG, you know, they really need to take advantage of that. I don't think it was taken advantage massively of in the last time we came here, but hey ho. But waiting for these members to begin the game, and we're gonna start. Random insults of being called PvE boy in chat. How much of an insult that is if you've got a legendary. Anyway.
Nice one. So, getting ready for the match. The teams are stacking the might already. We see all of them playing very defensive. But definitely on the red side, we have oRNG. And on the blue side, it's Sizzling Hot Pressure. Let's have a look at the splits.
I'm actually going to go into Denshi's point of view to see how he goes in with the damage there. So we've actually got Rom on mid at the moment with the 3 members engaging there. I'm just going to actually go off because of the engage onto Rom. But Rom's going to always does a great job at surviving. And actually Denshi just being defensive early on to make sure that they're not aware of his presence. And he's actually going to move in now, probably onto Drazi, and needs to get some damage off onto him. And he got the focus off. He's gone down to about half HP. But the survivability of Drazi there is really, really great. And he gets his blocks up and also his heal. I need to double check what utilities. He had to use everything to survive that. And he's actually using his, oh my god, he needs to be careful here as he tries to disengage. Look at Eternia's positioning though as well. Jigglypuff actually goes right through to try and take him out and maybe pinning They're getting in between them as well, so it's great positioning from oRNG as they start to trail behind Drazic. I can't believe Drazic survived this long. His heal actually might come back up just in time, and his utilities are going to come up soon. So if he can line a sight for now, and probably even use that Ring of Warding at some point to block. Oh, the defensive knockback, and he actually goes full offensive back onto Tage. Look at this. I'm sorry, I've actually focused on this fight quite a lot, but the great plays coming out from Drazic and Eternia to defend, and also the chase of Jigglypuff and also Tage there. A good job, but no one's really winning this very quickly. Drazic is again quite low, but having a look over on the mine, we've seen a decap there. We did see the two outer
might
point
need
caps.
to pull out. They're pulling out of Henge because they have gained control of the mine point again. After the early decap of that, Gnoon immediately moving over there because oRNG decided to go for the early 5-man pressure on mid. After then a couple of seconds splitting up towards the Henge and having aggression on that, but the full-on 5-man pressure definitely put them at a disadvantage in terms of the entire map in the early phases. And Tage just in the nick of time with the teleport on point, keeping it colored in red. And there we go, Rom now on point. He should be able to keep that for a bit longer. But yeah, oRNG needs to group up to really get the best benefit. If you want to group up all 3 people to get the big burst, you also need the necessary support for that. Therefore, a lot of 4-man grouping and the big Zerg moving.
Yeah, indeed. Unfortunately, we are going to see it turn almost res there by the banner. The actual health, there's so much HP just rose, and he just went down there, unfortunately. Denshi did go down there as well. He did rally off the continual down of Eternia, and now because Eternia is down as well, not able to offer up that support in his great way that he's been doing, Drazic is going to fall here as well. So we are going to see Alcor going back potentially towards the Henge. Actually thought he was going to come through there. He is not. He's going to advance potentially, and just have a look. I think he was thinking about potentially maybe thinking about going for the res on Karzez, but not worth it really. There is a lot of damage around that area, kind of watching out for him. We do have, of course, Ganoon, who's doing a fantastic job 1v3. He's definitely going to go down here, but he survived for quite a while. Unfortunately, you know, he couldn't really disengage there. Probably just thought in the end, maybe I can get a bit of a cheeky decap.
I think they should have kept him there, because as you see on the map, Sizzling is waiting for the regroup. They're waiting for the respawn. We have Karzeh down afterwards. They can wait for that. Okay, now we've got that. If they had left Ganoon on the point, even in with the sacrifice of keeping one player on the mine to keep it capped, I think they would have put HoT in a bit of trouble. Jigglypuff now dangerously close to Karzeh there. No, but the engage isn't happening. Fredin is there as well. He's just going past. Was he seen? No, still invisible. He's going to get the... Not the decap. What? Why? Why is he not going for the decap on the mine? He could have at least picked up the decap in this time.
I think he wants to even up on maybe +1 over on mid. Probably his decision. Is he decap past some people? I don't know. They're doing a good job. They've taken Rom out. He's down. They're going to pick up mid. That was actually a pretty good decision in the end, just going for the kill. And Karzez was already legging it towards mine. He's probably going to get the decap anyway. Oh no, not if Denshi's here. Surely. Oh no, Denshi needs to be... Denshi needs to be a bit defensive because he's got a couple of people here as well, so he can't go full ham on the point unless, and he's waiting for Rom. That's exactly what he's doing. They'd rather team up on that point than actually, you know, go for try and get the contestation.
Yeah.
Because it's just more worth it. It's definitely more worth it. Just because, you know, kills are very important in Guild Wars 2 sPVP. That's the way it's going. Team fights definitely are more important at the moment than caps, but you still need the caps to win, of course. So at the moment,
Rom. Sorry.
No. I was actually going to stop, but I just stopped.
Rom was now just in the position to basically keep it neutral. And I'm surprised that they went for the mine afterwards. A bit of a curious split there going on from the blue team. And you could almost, what Orange Logo was doing there, borrow a term from Counter-Strike and say they were looking for the entry kill. The first kill to get all of this rolling. Weren't quite able to find him yet, and now we have a team fight. And in the big team fight, I think we might see oRNG actually at a disadvantage.
Yeah, Denshi's the one to pick up now, but he gets rallied by that war banner and lightning flashes away. Needs to get a line of sight, but look at Drazic, is still really on him, and I don't think we're going to see that vampirism proc again because the cooldown. But Denshi is in tons of trouble. And that's the disadvantage of being so involved in that fight as a fresh air elementalist. And he's finding the difficulty right now as he gets booted across as well. from various players, and he's going to be off point. So the respawn of him, which should be coming out soon, means he can come into the fight and actually offer up a lot of damage. I can see Kaz's chasing Freylina here. Freylina is going to stealth himself and go back towards the mine now. We're going to see Rom as well in the down state. Not good at the moment for oRNG, but they do still have a 100-point lead.
And this might now take a while until oRNG can really get it going again. Rom still on the side and downstage, just waiting for him to die.
Freylina downstate as well now. They're picking off different players. They're always, for now, for the next 30 seconds or so, oRNG are going to be low.
Where's Stage? Where's Stage? He is out of position, put in the renewed focus already, and good move there. Manages to get out, tries to go for the port on Draze, a target that is rather far away, but now he finds himself in the 1v1, 2v1. The damage is good, but now he's low on cooldowns. Nothing really there to keep him alive anymore. He tries to go for the immobilize, but Kaze is on him and should pick him off with a couple of auto attacks. And on mid, you see two people engaging, but Eternia is keeping it very safe at the moment. So oRNG now going for the safe move. They spotted Ganoon there crossing via the beach, and two people with the aggression on the mine point.
Yeah, indeed. So now they want to go for that quick defense, try and take out Ganoon really quickly, which is what he did before over on the mine. He's going to be on a 1v2 situation. Probably won't be able to get the decap too easily as well. Might actually get backed up by Eternia, who's very good and very good at supporting the team at the moment. But we do have a 3v2 possible situation over on this mine, which is starting to evolve as Tage comes into the node now, and he's looking for a kill somewhere. I'm not sure that's going to be a great idea. Saying that, he got a nice boot back. Actually, we didn't see the dodge coming out. Not going to stay on point for the actual decap there. It's probably worth one of them doing that, just to at least get the decaps. They're fighting over the node at the moment.
Well, we did have Alcor. We did have Alcor on the point, so it wouldn't really have mattered anyways. He manages to just barely be on the side of the point where the ring of warding stops. Sadly, a ring of warding not quite the size of a capture point.
Yeah, I think it was still maybe, would have got half the decap a good point as well as he was on the node, so it doesn't matter so much. So now it's really between... Actually, Drez is going for Rom more than Tage, to be fair. I mean, I can understand that. He's got the wall banner and whatnot, which is going to come off cooldown in about a minute, so it's not too important, but the supportive character on the map going down would be a very, very good idea. But also, getting quite low, but I think they could have used this chance to actually go for Tage, but they really want to take Rom out here. And Rom's doing still again. He's like one of the best, warriors, shoutbow warriors in the game. He's easily going to be able to survive a lot of this, unless he suddenly gets bursted, which is probably what Raz is waiting for, jumping into his perspective. As Rom does a good job again at line of sighting, and just as he's doing that, Tage is trying to DPS on Alcor and also Draze in different situations. I'm not sure Rom should have re-engaged there. That was a bad decision. Oh, again, he's still up. How is this happening? How is he still alive?
They're fighting on a capped point, and this is...
I know!
Although, in a proper team fight, I would still see oRNG at a disadvantage. They need to get the move on. They got now the decap on mid. They kept the pressure up there. Now they need to try and pick somebody off on the way over to mine and get the big fight going, because otherwise they're not able to really benefit that much. Oh, that defensive ring of warding there. Nice try, but you can't just...
he got booted. Oh, he's so low! Oh my god, I thought he was going to get res there. He is now. We're going to see a wall banner, but damn, that was so close. The initial res, they almost didn't need to use that banner. oRNG just got in with a nice amount of cleaves, so they had to force that. There's so much
Jigglypuff in mid. He was almost down in a second there, giving up the cap. Now has to teleport out of it, trying to get out of it alive. We now have Freylina incoming, trying to pick off Kaze, but the points are not looking good for Orange Logo at the moment. Sizzling how pressure is just staying in these fights and these small scrimmages, not even small scrimmages, just these 1v1s and 2v2s weren't really faring well for Orange Logo there.
You said it quite rightly as well. They spent way too much time over on the mine for what it gave them, which was nothing really in the end. Essentially, they actually lost out in the end over on that point. Rom's going to try it again. Denshi's trying to go for the decap. Really desperation moves now to try and get the decaps in places. Blue team are dying all over the shop, and they need to outnumber. this would be we can't really say it's not doable.
The comes out. We have seen a move like this from oRNG before. The knockback on Eternia gets the decap on that one. We still have 2 down players. GW2 only dying now, so 50 seconds until he comes. We have the mid cap going on. Yeah, but
no.
Okay, mine. I was so in the hype right now. Damn.
And look at the combination. The Warrior Guardian combination of HoT just defeated the oRNG combination there. Obviously missed a little points in time where people dipped in and out. WTS World Champions have been defeated in this first game over on the Forest of Netherwell. We will be going into the second game very shortly. Good stuff coming out from HoT there to keep their composure and to just hold that lead, not giving oRNG the opportunity to actually come back at all there, other than 485 points into the game. So interesting. Yes,
always with the late actions from oRNG. But yeah, question, in my opinion, are we gonna see Denji still on the fresh air elementalist? Yes, we are, like apparently. No Dengineer coming out. That is pretty much the only change. Dengineer would mean the old setup.
What do you think about that?
I think they can make it work, but they can't. They had the upper hand in the game for a long time, but they let themselves be pressured into these 2v2 1v1 situations for a very long duration, with just long-lasting fights on points that were capped for sizzling hot pressure.
Yeah, that's exactly why I think they lost it as well. I don't think it was really the fact that Denji is playing that. It's like, he actually did a great job at surviving. The team was supporting him when they needed to. Towards the end, he needed to go and try and get the decap in places because they were trying to pull back into the game, which is entirely possible. But now even more, we're thinking about the fact that yes, okay, these fights are about winning. We have to win the fights to actually make sure that we can get the rest of the map, which is the way oRNG Logo actually play the game at the moment. And that's the way a lot of people are starting to play the game. Whether or not they successfully do it is another thing altogether, because we see a lot of teams not able to get the wipes and the kills across the map, and they fail to do that. So when that happens, we see them not getting the caps either, and they lose considerably. And that's big top tier teams. That's not just the teams that are starting to come into sPVP at all. So it's risking it. What is it worth? What's the team we're playing? Can we do this against this team? And sizzling hot pressure, I'm not sure is the team they can do that against, if I'm honest. Not as well.
The problem I see for this setup is that they're looking at a very narrow amount of situations that they actually benefit from this. We've seen in the small fights, 2v2, 1v1, not really working too well. The big fights, if they're initiated by sizzling hot pressure, not really working too well. So what do they need? They need either the roaming across the map, playing it really all over with a lot of rotations going on and trying to get the picks before it happens to for the big team fights to emerge, or get a team fight where they are the initiator. They need to be proactive on that. After a 2-cap, they can't really sit and let them regroup. Otherwise, they're in a bad situation afterwards.
They did that. Regroup was so good, though. How patient was that when they were regrouping? Yeah. We saw Drazzy and those guys over with the Fire Greatsword. That was just nice, such a nice regroup. Reminds me of the 55 HP Monks regroups that happen consistently. And there you go, guys. When you're losing and you're getting wiped on the map, you can come back into the game, even against the world champions. So it's worth thinking about. Don't just run into points one by one. Think about the regroup and re-enter and re-engage.
By the way, did you give the point to HoT?
I will do now. Oh, I didn't press update. Oh no, I thought I clicked
oh no, I forgot. Yeah, so now I forgot what I wanted to say. I want to say something probably really important.
The point score prediction?
No. I'm gonna leave that.
I think between these two teams, trying to predict the points is quite difficult, because it kind of goes either way a lot of the times.
Especially because we've only really seen one game in this setup from oRNG.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something quite different.
And how we're going to use the yeah, I mean, going from like the Celestial Engineer, like the consistency of that build and the player as well in that build, to then Fresh Air Elementalist, you have to completely change up the way you play. You cannot play the same at all. You know, you can't really get the decaps, you can't really get the nice pull, and you haven't got as much control or anything. You know, you're coming in after the control, and that's begun. You saw it at mid. He was hiding and waiting for that situation where he engaged on Drazit, and Drazit actually got away in that fight. It's still that support coming out from Eternia, and when Drazit was leaving the midpoint, and when they got over towards the henge, and how they sustained themselves in that situation was really, really awesome. And they did that again over on the mine, which is what we talked before about that 2v2, which went on forever, and that was a different pairing of Alcor and then also Drazit as well. So good job. And Drazit, actually, several situations we've seen Guardians using those rings of warding so well, thinking about potentially, you know what, I'm going to go down, I'm going to pin myself into this corner, and if they want to come and down me, at least they're going to have to use a cooldown to probably go and get that down themselves. So, you know,
or range and give me a couple more seconds, because the damage burst is most of the time not there with the range weapons.
Exactly, good point. So yeah, I really love Ring of Warding players and how they use DPS Guardian is definitely one of my favourite classes to watch. I've
been playing it DPS Guardian for 2 weeks now. I've kind of been hooked as well. I'm not good, but I enjoy playing it.
I think it's actually it's kind of nice to get into just because it's fun to play as well. And you can defend quite well if you rotate your cooldowns and you don't panic. I've actually got a highlight on my YouTube channel now of me playing it, and I actually do okay because it's fun to play, and you want to get better at it. You know, it's one of those builds where it can really be so effective in different ways, in a supportive way as well as that DPS bursty way. But we do see some people. Yesterday we saw some people using Greatsword. Some great plays coming out with that as well. So I think there is an option, but there's just too much utility with that hammer, especially at this top tier, where that can come in. You know, I'm on Tage at the moment, and he's a fine example of how he uses the hammer as a very defensive weapon as well as offensive. You know, knocking people off the points, getting the fast decaps with the cast of the Ring of Warding, and also, you know, then Judge's Intervention or the fourth skill, and while that's casting, using the Judge's Intervention pretty much off, so you can't really dodge the hammer because you're literally porting on when the hammer strikes the guy in the first place. So that's, you know, taking away that dodge capability of the other opposite team. So I don't know, there's a lot you can do with it. It's very fun. I'll stop getting happy about the Guardian DPS build because it's a good fun build to play. And
really, are you?
What?
You'll never stop.
No,
you'll never stop.
But also the engineers builds. It's good to see Ganan on on that one as well.
What do you think with the chances for this? Not a specific score or anything, but maybe tendencies of what will this map mean for this setup of Orange Logo at the moment, or how Sizzling Hot Pressure is going to be able to deal with that?
Well, Orange Logo can go for an extremely ridiculous fast Lord kill, even faster than they did before, so if they need to come back, there's that potential coming out. But, you know, of course, Blue Team still have a lot of burst as well. But if you see the 3-man DPS team of Orange Logo going for it, no doubt they'll get it quicker. So if we see a last-second Lord rush at the same time from both teams, you give it to Orange Logo, so there's that. We've still got Fire Greats. We've got 2 Fire Great Swords over on the Orange Logo as well, so there's a bit of mobility there. So we're going to see some nice defensive movement as well as a lot of mobility around the map. There's no Mesmers here. We have 2 Thieves, 1 Thief on each side. I don't know. I actually think the Orange Logo might win this, in all honesty, if they can get in a position when they just aren't doing what they did in the first map. And that's by staying in a fight that they're losing and on the point at which they have not got capped in their favour or contested at the very least. They need to think about those, you know, getting them into positions in the roads between the points to get those kills that they were so good at in the WTS and how we've seen them play recently, because they're actually fighting a lot on node, and I think that it's actually sizzling hot pressure that are pulling them into the caps to get those fights going underway.
Well, we're going to see how all of that works out. Very quick, who are you going to say is going to win this? Come on, I'm going to force
orange logo.
Orange logo. Okay, let's see if that is correct. On the red side, orange logo in the second map in this best of 3 semifinals of Go4GW2, and on the blue side, it's sizzling up pressure.
Both teams actually doing a bit of a stealth maneuver up into mid. We can see blue team coming into mid as well. They're going to jump instantly onto Rom there, who's doing an okay job of surviving, but he's not going to, I don't think. Oh no, he's going to be okay. Only a couple of conditions. Oh, there we go. Here we go again. Doing what he does. Using that line of sight, and this is actually probably one of the best maps for him.
Nobody saw Kazir.
No one's looking
just
at
walked
Kazir.
Straight through. Straight through, getting the decap, and that is going to pull one person off. Or I could very well imagine Orange Logo in this situation just saying, no, I don't care. I don't care about the quarry. We're going to get the kills in mid, but it's not looking too well. Rom still the prime target. If he's going down, then the rest is going to be very, very difficult. They need counter pressure, and they need it quick.
He might be okay. Again, when he gets to this point, when he gets to this line of sight, right there, they need to keep the pressure on, and that's what Drazir did. And Tage does a nice knockback. Is he going to get it? No! Oh, the res was so close! And another reason to go for Rom is that we know as well from the WTS recap video how important Rom is in getting these guys focused and getting the team rallied. Because
and
as
how loud
soon
he can be.
Exactly. And I bet as soon... I doubt that stops. But as soon as he goes down, Denshi then follows. Because he kind of, in a way, almost has to. 2 Cup coming in for sizzling hot pressure now. Red team need to think about maybe pulling back to a degree. They are going to have to regroup. Rom's actually going to get the easy decap.
They're doing good, but Tage needs to be careful.
Yeah,
Tage can't get caught in this situation. He needs to get out of that somehow. Very nice ring of warding, keeping Eternia in, and he's forced to flash on the point there. We've gotten 1 decap from Rom already. If he gets out of that alive, then brilliant. Now the Immobilize comes out. We see the renewed focus used, and he's actually staying alive for Lena now. Maybe there to save him. And also Rom coming in with the support. So this was actually pretty good. He kept 3 people on the midpoint and therefore completely alleviated the pressure from the waterfall, and gave Orange Logo, even with the downed player, the ability to continue on and not be forced into a long regroup.
We saw as well Alcor bring up Kazairs over towards the waterfall there. I did see the banner get dropped, so that's what I'm assuming what happened. You can see Denshi try and take... Oh, Kazairs there! Wow, okay, that's where that build is so very effective. You can pin down that thief. Alcor's going to go for the res. Shouldn't be able to get it, really, because we've got so much damage coming out from... No, he's not going to be able to get it! He used all his bursty cooldowns, and... Oh, unfortunately... They're not going to be able to get the down there. We're going to see mid start to be contested as well by Freylina here. He pops onto the point. Tage doing an off-fight move against a couple of members as well. Trazit and also Kazes. Kazes is stealthed. He's going to come out now, so they are aware of where he is. Denshi's going to be caught here. Vampirism does pop, but he's going to go down shortly. Oh, look at that ring of warding. Good positioning. Defensive coming out for Denshi here from also Rom and Tage. And now Denshi is going to be able to get away, but they are starting to pursue him. Kazes is really on him. He's easily going to go down there. And sizzling hot pressure using that initial engagement. We're going to see the war banner drop. Maybe they can get Ganan down here as well, who's very low himself. They need to start focusing on him. Screw the point. Get the player. This is what they're going to do. But he's going to be able to get away. He's going to be able to heal. And Freylina's coming in as well to potentially get some extra focus down on him. It's not happening. And actually, Tage is going low himself. Now they need to finish him. Oh, the Elixir S. Thank God for the Elixir S. That's really saved him. And he can just go into his spawn. All of that wasted. But they're going to get Kazes here.
Ballsy move right there. Gnoon actually on 20% HP, pulling Tage to him. Like, no, I want to die. I definitely want to die. He managed just to get out of it, but sadly Kazer, the victim of that burst. Gnoon was gone, so another one had to stay there for the pressure. And now they might be able to get the cap on the waterfall. We see Rom not faring too well against Elka, although now he's got him pinned down.
He's going to get support
then
soon,
we
though.
see the rest of oRNG Logo coming in. That's going to be the double outpoint cap in a couple of seconds. I don't think that, who is it? Jose? No, Eternia is going to be able to do much against that after a while. But we see the down. Tage dropping, but 4 people are going to kill Eternia so quickly.
They need to move from this node. Keep it in the 2v1 maybe, or at least maybe 3v1 if Ganam goes towards the mid. But look at the rest of the map. They've so committed to this area that they've still lost the cap. This is the important thing. And this is why Sizzling Hot Pressure don't mind so much losing their players. Even though there's losing players on the map, and this is what happened to TCG, they're taking the advantage of the fact that oRNG Logo potentially just overcommitted and didn't leave quick enough. So now they're actually still losing, and now Blue Team still only have 4 members on the map. They need to pick off another player so they can pick up the rest of these points easily, and also watch the only cap that they currently have. The only person who is near that at the moment is Rom over on mid, and he's potentially kind of 1v1 on the point, or we can see Denshi and Tage. If Blue Team realise that, they can easily pick up that waterfall though, but we are going to see the re-pick up of the Corey in favour of Jigglypuff.
Not quite. We saw stealth up from Kaze. Where's he going to go? He's actually full on disengaging, so mid the double outpoint cap is going to happen. Oh, no. And mid, are they going to be looking for a kill? Tage is on Ganoon. Ganoon seems to be the focus target, and he does really get a lot of views out of... No, wait. Wasn't he running the scavenging rune as well? No, not scavenging.
I don't think so.
Vampirism? He wasn't.
No, I think it was
Oh no, that was the game before.
Yeah, that was someone else. No, it's all good.
Stuck in the past.
We've got so many flipping players playing the game. But look at Carses, look! Again! As soon as they start to come back into the game, it's like, who's looking after these points? And then almost, because they know Jigglypuff is going to go, Draz's got an eye on him, and he can drop the Ring of Warding. Jiggly can't get through it, and they're going to get the 2-cap back. They're really thinking about how to counter these guys. This is awesome play from Sizzling Hot Pressure at the moment. They are applying a blinding game. But oRNG Logo making a couple of mistakes in different areas. They're not looking after their caps enough, and that's what's going to win you prizes, people. Caps win prizes. It's my new catchphrase.
Okay.
At the end of the day.
Double cap, especially on this map, definitely a more comfortable position for Sizzling Hot Pressure here. Just because they have the better sustain in these drawn-out team fights, and they can just move between these points so easily. So they're definitely going to get a big team fight. The question is, who will get the engage? And at the moment, we see oRNG Logo a bit on tilt. Losing Frelina is going to get a lot of burst out of that wave. We do still have the Denshi and Tage combination, but they first need to find their target and get it down. Draze, currently the one to be chosen. Are we going to see him drop? Another support comes in, and actually on the pursuit, Rom dropping. That is a rare sight, but it does happen nonetheless.
Yeah, he's a really good person to focus. He is very vital to this team's, I don't know, consistency on the map to a degree. He's been taken out a few times now, and people are focusing more and more on those Shoutbow warriors who offer up so much support in terms of their Shoutbow and everything, but Rom even more important there.
Good move if they get the kill on Ganoon. We had actually 4 people from Sizzling Hot Pressure grouped up in mid. We now see Tage with the engage on mid. He's keeping 1 person there, so a full-on 4v4 over on the waterfall, but split between the people slightly. And Frelina got caught out completely out of position here. Denshi now, after the Vampirism room, is gonna stop. He's gonna fall down most likely as well. So that engage is all...
Swirling winds and the lightning flash, great combination to get away. He did a good job there. It was, but maybe not good enough as Drazzy starts to trail him from behind as well, and also Ganal. But look, there you go. Rom's just making sure that he's going to be okay.
And Kazair.
No one is countering Kazair at all on these decaps. Not at all. And look at Kazair being so positive, and actually Tage did pop that nice focus 5 just in time. And Tage might actually die here unless he gets someone supportive. But, you know, as soon as his heals come back up and using that renewed focus to get his Aegis and all his regeneration back up as well, it's not too bad, so he should be okay here. Denshi again using that swirling winds to try and counter Ganam with that rifle, of course, as well as Eternia, who's just coming in, but still they need to pick up that cap, and the points are just running away at the moment. They're not able to get another cap, and it looks very strong for a Sizzling Hot Pressure. oRNG Logo not picking up a game, of course. At the moment we have the 1 game in favour of Sizzling Hot Pressure, and with Frelina down at mid, it's looking even more dire for oRNG Logo.
Then she's not going to be quite fast enough, even with the Fiery Greatsword, especially with a counter Fiery Greatsword from Eternia. We again
Counter
have no
firing.
point to come from oRNG Logo. Tage already putting out the GG there. So this seems to be over.
This feels very much so. Tage going down there is not great. Rom as well.
I just wanted to say, oRNG Logo, if you're planning on a comeback, now might be the right time.
Just give us a bit of a warning on the hype. They've actually GG'd.
Yeah, they have
actually GG'd.
So, WTS champion has been defeated. Is it due to the fresh air? I actually wouldn't say.
I don't actually think so either. I mean, I don't think it helps a massive amount, but I don't think that's the reason why they're losing. I think, you know, because of the way that I actually think it's maybe even more how Sizzling Hot Pressure are also playing as well. Just because they're playing very well, and like there's different movement on the map. Over towards the waterfall, we saw, you know, the countering the Jigglypuff movement over there, and how that worked in their favour. You know, like countering those people watching out for those back caps. Also, you know, making them almost to a degree commit fully to the respawn, bring them all the way to the base that Karzez could go and get the decaps on the quarry, and you know, they overcommittal from oRNG Logo there into those fights, which I feel like Sizzling Hot Pressure really pulled them into. Actually, I think they played that game very well themselves, but I do think that oRNG Logo just not today. Don't think it was their day.
And with Karzez, oRNG Logo just didn't have any breathing room.
No.
As soon as they tried one thing, Karzez was just on another point, because they are in a composition where they really need to commit to a team fight.
Yeah.
And with that, you just know the back point is open. Karzez is on there, and with this team setup that Sizzling Hot Pressure has, they can at least sustain it for a bit, even if they lose a member here or there. The cap advantage is on the side of Sizzling Hot Pressure there. And we'll see those guys advancing to the finals for today.
Indeed, just going to check to see if we got a winner in the other semi-final, which would have also been a very good game. No, we have not got any updates yet, guys, so we will be back. Wow. We will be back, in my all honest hope, soon. There is nothing we can do about it. I said 5 minutes before, I take it back. It will be back when we'll be back. We'll be back when it's ready, okay? That's a phrase that's used by people in some game. I'm not too sure. Don't forget to follow the channel. I will be giving an 800 gem code away after the finals, so you've got to be following the channel to have that. That is because you have had to move channel, and I know that we've got a few less viewers today, but that is likely because of the move, although we're still hitting almost 700. So thank you very much for watching, guys, in ESL Go4GW2 Cup number 22. We have just seen our World Tournament series winners, oRNG Logo, go out to Sizzling Hot Pressure, who will go on to the final. We'll see if it's 55 or TCG. Keep watching the chat, keep watching the AFK screen. We'll let you know as soon as possible. Thank you very much. See you soon.